John McCain is going to do is get our economy back on track. I know you've been watching the news lately. It's like a lot of Americans feeling today, you all too. People in Florida are and should be outraged. Huge financial institutions going under because of their own bad practices and now asking the public to bail them out. Federal agencies aren't defending the public interest. And we've got some reckless CEOs that are walking off with multi-million-dollar golden parachutes. These problems started with corruption and manipulation in the home mortgage system. Now, 2 years ago, there was one man who stood up and warned us about the problems at Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It was John McCain. He told Congress. He warned Congress that we needed to do something before these problems became a crisis. But Congress did nothing, and now Americans are paying the price. It was just the other night, we were at a town hall meeting. John and I heard from a college student who couldn't afford the health insurance that she needed. And we heard from a doctor just out of med school, $250,000 in school loan debt. And citizens worried about wasteful earmarks and Congress's wasteful spending. We heard from them, as I'm sure we'd hear from you, that times are hard. Americans are caught in kind of a perfect storm of high taxes and high gas prices and a wave of greed on Wall Street and a shortage of courage in Washington, D.C. Let me just say this is America and we will get through this because America, the best nation on earth, and America with the best workers in the world, it will be Americans' hard work and their spirit that will usher in a new era of prosperity. But we need real leadership in Washington to help American workers turn today's challenges into tomorrow's opportunities. We need serious reform on Wall Street, and we need better regulation. And it's like Senator McCain said just yesterday, we don't need a dozen federal agencies doing the job badly. We need the best agencies doing the job right. This week, when the economic crisis threatened the livelihood of millions of Americans, John McCain took a clear stand and he offered his own recovery plan. Our opponent refused to even take a stand on the position. And that's a lot like his tenure in the Illinois state legislature, where Barack Obama voted present about 130 times. This week, he voted present on the major economic issues of the day, and that is not leadership, America. It's not leadership Americans can afford. The problems in Washington and on Wall Street are hurting people on Main Street. We need a president who will act quickly to help American workers. We need a president who will stand up for small business owners. Small business owners like in my family, Todd and I in our commercial fishing business, and my sister and her new service station that they just opened up. And Todd's parents, they own a hardware store. Small businesses all around America. It's small businesses that create the jobs in this great country. The best way to help them, government, is to take less from them and leave more for them so they can expand, they can grow and prosper and thrive. Now, our opponents disagree with this. They have some kind of strange ideas about raising taxes at a time like this even. To our opponents, their massive tax increase is about, they quote, patriotism. They said that small businesses, making things worse. This isn't about patriotism. It's about Barack Obama's poor judgment. He wants to raise income taxes and raise payroll taxes and raise investment income taxes and raise the death tax and raise business taxes. He wants to raise taxes by hundreds of billions of dollars, and that will make today's bad economy seem like the good old days. It's in this race where there is one man of action, one proven reformer who will clean up Wall Street and bring tax relief to hard-working taxpayers and small businesses around this nation. Truly, there is only one man with the wisdom and experience to fix our economy, and that man is John McCain. John and I think it's time to put government back on the side of the people. Now that's what I've done up there in Alaska. As mayor, first, I eliminated personal property taxes and small business inventory taxes and taxes that were hurting our private sector. We had a sales tax, and I saw that property taxes were too high, so every year in office I reduced that mill levy. And then, as governor, I used the veto pen. I cut nearly $500 million in excess spending, and we suspended our state fuel tax, and today our state has a surplus. And I'm returning a chunk of that surplus right back to the people of Alaska. And you know why? It's because they can spend their money better than government can spend it for them. As a mayor and governor, I have always known who it was whom I was serving. I was held accountable to the people who hired me, the people of Alaska. And in a McCain Palin administration, I promise you we will never forget that we are there to work for you, the people of America. If we are so privileged to serve you, I'm going to have some new responsibilities as Vice President. As Vice President, it's going to be focused on government reform and energy independence and helping families with loved ones who have special needs. That's going to be at the top of our list. First, I will help with these reform efforts. John and I are the only candidates in this race with a track record of actually making change happen. Not just talking about it, but actually making change happen. I want to ask you a few questions. Okay, here we go. Our opponent likes to point the finger of blame, but has he ever lifted a finger to help? Reached out a reformer's hand to the other side of the aisle in order to get others to say yes to change? Has he ever told his own party no? When it comes to reform, he says, I will, but has he ever been able to say we did? Now, just the other day, our opponent told his supporters to go out and argue with those who would disagree with him. He told them to get in your face. And that isn't the politics of hope or the politics of change. That is the worst of politics. On that same day, some protesters tried to do exactly that to our nominee. They showed up at a rally, they were protesting. John McCain said, and I quote, he said, the one thing that Americans want us to stop doing doing is stop yelling at each other. And that is leadership, and that will bring the change that Americans